Okay.
All right, so here we are with Dexter, and this is his Roadmap to Success video. When I got here, Dexter was very excited at the door, kind of like I anticipated. His guardians had expressed interest in helping him learn better door manners. So we first wanted to work on that, but when I walked in, he was doing a lot of demanding for attention. So he was trying to first jump over my lap and invade some personal space. When that wasn't working, he decided to get a little more creative. He has a blanket on the floor, and he started playing with that. So what I want to encourage the guardians to do is when Dexter's doing a behavior such like that, to disagree with him using the escalating consequences, and to have him respect your personal space. If he starts nudging you or putting his paws on you, that's a good time to disagree with him. Like that. Thank you, Dexter, for letting me demonstrate on the video. And then, so he picked his paw up, and then he thought twice about it. So now what I'm doing is I'm petting him under the chin. When dogs' noses are pointed up, they feel good about themselves. So I want to encourage you to keep petting him under his chin for good behavior. And that's also our philosophy of petting with a purpose. When he's doing what you want, pet him. If he's acting anxious or acting in a way that you don't agree with, don't pet him at that point. You can either disagree with him or ignore the behavior. So to help Dexter with with having better door manners, we created an invisible boundary. Oop, can you keep holding it?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's just for website purposes.
Okay.
Thank you. So for the claiming the door, we just made an invisible boundary that he had to stay behind. If you go on the Doggone Problems website and click on dog training tips on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side, you'll see a search tab. If you look for claiming the door, you'll find a bunch of videos that you can watch that on as a reference also for your husband to see how we're doing that. So make sure everyone in the house has the same idea of where the boundary is. You can pick the specific tiles on the floor so everyone has the same boundary. And remember, only disagree with him if he's crossing that boundary. That way your guests have a good, are able to come in with him staying at a respectful distance. The other thing that we went over is how to help him stop being reactive to dogs and kids and the neighboring yards. He wasn't being aggressive. He's very friendly with dogs and kids, but he really wanted to engage with them, and this was a time he specifically wouldn't listen to his guardians if they wanted him to come inside. So we started using counter conditioning, another thing you can search for on our search tab, but it's also the video above this, and that will kind of help you walk through how to help him calm down. You can use the exact same method, the counter conditioning method, when going for walks if he's starting to be reactive to people or dogs during the walk. So if he's being really excitable, go ahead and move off of the path and bring some treats with you, like these tricky trainers. They're really a high value treat. And bring him far enough from the path to keep him really relaxed and comfortable. You want him to stay in a sitting position, and that will help him start realizing that getting that excitable won't help bring the person over to him. We want him to gain self-control. I would practice the counter conditioning in the yard at least twice a day, and then also practice until you get to the point where he is reliably looking at the neighbors and not responding in a reactive way. This includes being off leash. The next thing that you want to do is make sure to practice the leadership exercise that we covered. I would say go over that twice a day. Try to make sure that he has some naps in between. That way he can consolidate the memories and he'll learn faster. If he doesn't have a nap in between, he's more likely to make errors, and it'll take longer for him to learn how to go through that exercise. And that's mostly making a leadership change in the house and helping you also practice the escalating consequences. In the claiming the door exercise, also practice that 2 times a day until you get to the point where you can walk to the door and walk face forward and be able to open it, and he's staying respectfully behind the boundary. Even better is if he's not even close to the boundary and he's staying really far away because he's no longer excited about what's happening at the door because that boundary's been established. You want to first practice with people that live here or are comfortable with you going through this exercise. So when someone's coming home, go ahead and text somebody at the home with him, and that way you can practice this as well. So I practice that until you're very comfortable and he's always staying behind the boundary and you're not having to disagree with him. The last thing is to keep using the structured walk when you're using the martingale collar. So you can take the leash around his belly off towards the end of the walk so he can kind of engage in sniffing and being really relaxed as kind of a bonus at the end of the walk for being a really good dog and walking next to you in a loose leash manner. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.